Moving on to conditions. Conditions are basically if-else statement. Okay, so if, for example, here we are going to write a little bit of code to check whether A is greater than B. A has a value 3 assigned to it. B as a variable has a value 5 assigned to it. Okay, so if A is less than B, you want to print this, else you want to print that. Okay, so of course A is less than B, so you would expect this code to print the first line, right? So A is smaller than B. If you flip it, okay, it's going to print the next line. Okay, so it's pretty simple. Okay, you can write the same thing you just did this in one line. Okay, A is greater than or equal to B if A is greater than B. So this is a string. You want to print this if A is greater than B, else print this. Okay, so A is greater than B. Because is A is greater than B? No, because we didn't run this cell. We changed this way, we flipped these values around, but after reflipping them, we didn't run it. So now it's going to give you A is smaller than B. Okay, so every time you change something, you want to rerun it. Okay, just to make sure that the new values you want that variable to hold, it holds that value. Okay. So here this is a series of statement. If A is less than B, you want to print this. If A is equal to B, you want to print this or print that. Okay, so you see if, elif and else. You can continue writing elif for as long as you want. So if there is, like, say 10 different conditions, say A is equal to this, A is equal to that, A is equal to that, you can continue writing elif. For example, you can say elif, and watch out for these tabs. I think you probably went through this in that Code Academy review, but watch out for this tab. It's strictly enforced if you okay, so let me give you an example. Okay, so now you are able to run that code. Let's say you didn't have this tab. Okay, it's going to throw an error. Okay, so you want to make sure that and it's good to sort of have it aligned or have it be written like this, so that it's clear to you in terms of being able to read the code. It's clear to you that where the if else statement stops and where that condition starts. Okay, so that's a little bit on conditions. Okay, we're going to quickly walk through lists. Okay, list basically it basically holds, it's a container. It is sort of a container. It holds a set of values. It can be anything. It can hold anything, as you can see, and it's ordered and mutable. Mutable means you can change that value. Okay, for example, if I run this cell, A is going to hold that list. Okay, and if I want to change, okay, and if I want to say okay, so by the way, before changing anything, so A is that list which holds this value. It has an integer, it has a float, it has a string, it has another list. It's a list within a list. It has another integer and an integer. Okay, so now it follows a zero based indexing. Okay, which means the first item, if you want to pull this item out, you have to say A0. Okay, A number 0, which is the index of this. So that's 0, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, and that's 5. So if you want to pull out, say if you have this list and say, give me the first item in that list, instead of writing 1, if you write 1, it's going to give you 2 or the second item. Okay, instead you want to write 0. Okay, it's a zero based indexing. So the first index is 0 and the last is whatever the length is minus 1. Okay, so the length of this list is, how do you find length? Very simple. you just tell it what is the length, which is short. Okay, what is the length of A? Okay, length of A is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, there are 6 items in this list. But what is the sixth element of this list? Is there a sixth element? There are 6 elements, but can you find the sixth element using the index 6? No, you can't, because it starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So there is no 6. Okay, so the first element is 0, the second is 1, of course. Okay, and so and so. This is the third element, which is 0, 1, 2. This is actually the fourth element, 0, 1, 2, 3 and fourth. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3 and fourth. Okay, it's going to give you 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is the third. This is the fourth element by the index 3. Okay, this is negative 2. Okay, what does negative 2 means? It's going to give you the item from the second last. Okay, we're going to walk through this indexing one more time when we talk about strings, but I think this gives you, and you just have to play around with this just to get a hang of it. Okay, length, we already talked about that. Okay, and there is something called range. Okay, so in Python 2, okay, so when you have this Anaconda installed, it's going to have Python 3, but in Python 2 it will print out. So when you say range 10, it's going to print out all the numbers from 0 to 9. It doesn't print out 10. Okay, so it's up to 10 but excluding 10. Okay, but that has been changed. Okay, so now instead of doing that, it just prints out the 2 ends. Okay, so for example, why is this useful? So for you'll use this a lot. Okay, so if I want to iterate, if I want to say I want to go from I in range 0. Okay, I say print I. Okay, so for I in range from 0 to 10, not including 10, I want to print I. Okay, and every time it's going to run through it 0, 1. So when I is 0, I is 1, I is 2, I is 3, I is 4 and all those things. Okay, you can also say I want to start from 1, 10. Okay, I think we are doing that here. Okay, so let's not talk about that here. Okay, so if you want to see, okay, and this is done, the reason it doesn't print out that entire array or that entire list is because to consume some to conserve some memory. Okay, or it's to optimize memory consumption. Okay, instead, if you do want to print that out, you can call it, say, list range 2 or list range 10, and it's going to print out all that that sequence of numbers which are part of this range, which is now a list. Okay, so you have this range which is supposed to go from 0 to 10 excluding 10. You convert that to list, and it's going to print out that list. Okay, now L has this list. Okay, and you can say for I in L print I. Okay, so you want the I to loop through L. So you want I to be 0 first, 1 first, 2nd first, 3rd first and 4th first, and you can print that thing. Okay, so basically it's an iterator. Okay, it iterates through each item in that list from 0 to 9. Okay, and this list can be, say you want to say list of list of 5. Let's say you want to change that to this is fun. Okay, let's say. Okay, so now your new list is going to have this is fun at position 5. So that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and when you run this again, it's going to print that this is fun on the fifth location, on that fifth iteration of that loop. Okay, I hope this is clear. I think it should be clear because you already probably have done a lot of that in that Code Academy exercise. Okay, let me clean this out first. Okay, list range 10. You can also define a range between 2 points. So this one will give you from 0 to 9 because it excludes the number. This is going to give you from 3 to 9. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can also say, I want to say 3 to 9 at 4 step. Okay, oh, sorry, 3 to 10 with 4 steps. So 3, 7, and then another 4 is 11. So it's probably not going to print that 11. Okay, so it's only going to print 3 and 7. Okay, which is clear. The list. Okay, we are talking about list. It has a couple of methods. Methods are basically like functions, which we are going to talk about. You probably have covered that. Methods are like function. You can they are part of a class or part of an object. Okay, the object is L here. Okay, this list, and you can add stuff to that list. Okay, so now what does that list have? The list has 3 and 7. Okay, because that's the last change we made, and you want to add one more item to that list, which is 6 divided by 7, and append it to that existing list called L. And it's going to do that. Okay, so 6 divided by 7 is this number, so it appended that. And you want to insert, I think it's, what does it do? Okay, at position 2, you want to insert at position 2 number negative 10. Okay, so position 2 is 0, 1, and this 2. So that's between 7 and this 0.85 something. And that's what it does here. Okay, you want to pop, and when you use pop, it's going to pop out the last item in that list, and you can see that that's gone. The last item is gone. Can you pop by index? Yes, you can, I think. Okay, so you popped the index 2, which is the third item, 0, 1, and 2, and you pop that. Oh, actually you can pop. Okay, so you cannot pop by index, can you? 0, 1, and 2. Okay, so let's see whether you can pop one. Okay, oh, you can. Okay, so 0, 1, and 2. Okay, oh, because if you wanted to pop the last item, you just want to not use anything, but if you want any item apart from the last, you just want to insert that index number. Okay, so that just popped that 7. So now the list has 3 and number 3 only. Okay, I think you just have to play around with this. A lot of these things are just like playing around. You might get some things which you might not expect, and you can't remember everything. That's one way to sort of practice a lot, and the more you practice, the better you get at it. Okay, so